What's going on, guys? So today I have a very special guest with me. I have Charlie, who's the CEO of Unagi, and they are the studio that is behind Persona Journey, a project that I'm sure that you've heard a lot about. So Charlie, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today and to share all this info with the Web3 and just the rest of the world. So why don't you give like a brief introduction of yourself and who you are and how you got to where you are?
Yeah, so I'm Charlie. Thanks for having me. I'm 32 and I live in Paris, France. And I've always been a big fan of video games and started to work in the video game industry in 2014, actually. It's already been 10 years. So I worked at Ubisoft managing a free-to-play game development studio for almost 7 years. While working there, I discovered Ethereum in 2017. So after a sleepless night reading about it, I acquired my first ETH at a bit less than $50 at the time. And then we, with my friends and who are actually my co-founders now, we were trying to figure out how blockchain was going to disrupt the video game industry. And in 2021, when we saw the rise of NFTs, we decided to make a bold move and to create our own Web3 gaming studio. And so we launched Unagi in June 2021, just before unfortunately the bear market. For the little story, my first NFT was a hash mask, actually.
No way. That's actually funny to hear. So Unagi, I know that you mentioned that it's a studio, right? So what are the other projects or brands that are under Unagi?
We have two games that are already out and live with communities and that are revenue generating. They're called Ultimate Champions Football and Ultimate Champions Basketball, and it's fantasy sports games.
You said fantasy sports games?
Yeah, fantasy sports game. Yeah.
All right, got it. So obviously you worked on those, right? And I know that those have been successful. So what is Persona Journey and what inspired its creation? Because I do know that you mentioned the others are fantasy sports, and then this is just a different vibe like altogether. So what inspired it and what is it?
Yeah, of course. So Persona is a collection of NFT avatars inspired by retro anime, and it's at the heart of our gaming ecosystem. So our vision at Unagi really is to create accessible Web3 experiences that seamlessly blend innovation with simplicity. And we've seen that onboarding Web2 users into Web3 products, it's quite a challenge. Even if we've tried a lot with our games to make it as easy as possible, it's always quite hard to get into a deep and complex Web3 gaming economy. And so with Persona, we really wanted to create an entry point for newcomers and to have an NFT collection, an avatar collection that is easy to understand, its utility, its economics, its dynamics, and it's a lot easier to understand than a full-fledged Web3 game. On top of that, with Persona, we really want to have a universe, a brand with great art so that collectors can create an emotional connection with their avatars.
Yeah, the art is awesome. Like I absolutely love it. I was talking to NFT Boy last night, and him and I, we were discussing that because we were just like, yeah, it's awesome for sure. So within Persona Journey, can you give me like a overall timeline that you have available right now of the way that things are going to go with it, or is that still to be determined?
What's going to happen next is the art reveal, which is coming extremely soon. So maybe you got a few sneak peeks, but a few days, if not hours, the world will know more about the Persona art. And then it will be all about mint details, the price, the supply, where we mint, etc.
Okay. So what would you say are some key points that sets what you're doing with Persona apart from all the other projects? And then also, like, what would you say are maybe some similarities that you have or that you like about what other projects have done that you would like to also have as a part of Persona?
Yeah, good question. So the first thing that really differentiates Persona is that it arrives in an already live ecosystem, is in a live gaming ecosystem with communities and revenues already being generated. So that's, in our opinion, quite different from a lot of other NFT projects. And in my opinion, you could be interested in to get a persona for many reasons. So you could just like the art, the brand, the retro vibe, etc. Or you already like to play Unagi games and you want to get benefits in the current or future games. Or you agree with us that Web3 gaming is the future and you want to follow Unagi's journey through Persona and through our token, which is the Una token.
Got it. So who are the team members that are a part of the project?
Yeah, so we're a team of more than 30 people actually working at Unagi on the various games and also on Persona. And as a traditional game studio, we have teams of game designers, of developers, of artists, and of course of marketing, HR. So we're quite a big team actually. The co-founders, we're four, and we all have different skill sets.
Okay. And in terms of backing or funding, what does that look like for Unagi?
Yeah, so as a game studio, we went through various funding rounds, but the two bigger ones were one with Binance Labs that happened a while ago already, and we're also backed by a few VCs in the gaming sector, which are great VCs like Sizu.
So Binance, that's pretty sick.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I know that you mentioned that the supply and min price are to be determined. So do you have a date in mind for when everything will launch?
The mint will be by the end of this month. So as the art reveal will be very, very soon, the rest will follow. So in the next 2 weeks, you'll know everything.
Okay. So we're just a little bit early. Yeah. That's fine. Are there any notable collaborations or partnerships? I know you mentioned Binance for funding, which obviously is huge. Is there anybody else that you guys are working with that will contribute to the project, whether it comes to partnerships, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so at Unagi, we already have a ton of partners. We partnered with more than 100 sports clubs all around the world to have them in our games. So massive football clubs like Arsenal, Bayer Leverkusen, or Barcelona. And for Persona, we've partnered with mostly other NFT collectors to make sure that they could get a reward by being in the Ethereum NFT ecosystem. So the idea to make sure that all those collectors can get access to Persona.
Okay.
And of course, there will be more collabs with Persona that will be announced very soon.
Okay, so there's still stuff that's just that
course.
you're holding on to. No, I get it for sure. So what are going to be the immediate plans like after mint? So I know obviously there's a lot that goes into like a mint event, but what from your perspective is the time after the mint? What does that look like for you?
Well, there are so many things already planned, and it's a bit difficult to reveal everything now. We want to space it out, so you'll hear more about them after we mint, actually. We're currently focusing on making sure that the mint is a success and that everyone is happy with what's happening, how it's happening, etc. In the team, we're all long-time NFT holders ourselves, so we know that it's interesting to know what's going to happen after, but we don't want to create too much hype. So with unrealistic plans, we prefer to deliver quality experiences when they're ready. So we want to announce them at the right time as well.
So you mentioned something in there. I know that you're a pretty heavy NFT collector. So you're a part of a bunch of different collections, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, such as
the Yuga ecosystem, such as Pudgy Penguins, such as Captains, Mochaverse recently. I'm having a lot of fun with the OP pens as well. Minted Cool Cats too, a while ago.
Minted. That's wild.
Yeah, it was a wild mint.
Okay, I get it. I know you're trying to hang on to like, you know, a lot of the info. I'm gonna ask this. So within this whole like gaming, you know, a lot of different projects and studios have done, they've kind of outlined like a general like, okay, this is what it's gonna be: game, token, and then, you know, or whatever that is. So is there going to be a token? Is there going to be merch, collectibles, that kind of thing? Like, are there going to be just those things like within the ecosystem?
Yeah, of course. So we already have a token, which is the Una token. It's the utility token that powers all our ecosystem of games. So it's currently powering Ultimate Champion games, and it will also power all our future experiences. So if a Unagi game player uses Una in one of our games, the used Una is actually burnt. So it makes the token deflationary. And so the more games that we have that use UNA, the more demand there will be for UNA, and the more UNAs will be burnt at the same time. So it's a virtuous cycle for the UNA token.
Okay. And what about merch and collectibles? Is that going to be a thing?
Of course, merch. We love merch. We've already started working on merch. When I was at the Ape Fest, I was wearing Persona merch already. So yeah, you'll be happy to see the Persona merch.
All right. And then this is the big one for me, because I think you've seen a lot of projects. Everyone that's watching this has seen these projects as well. And it's tough because I think people will buy into something expecting it to be something down the road, and then it's not. So my question to you is, if like everything goes to plan, everything goes exactly how you want it to go, where do you see Persona 1 year from now?
It's a great question, actually. And I'll start by saying that usually nothing really goes according to plan. So you always have to change, to calibrate, and to change your plans due to how the community evolves, how the ecosystems evolves, how the business models evolve. So you never know. If I had to reply, I'd say that we want to be an established top collection within the ecosystem. We want to have multiple games that are successful and that are bringing value to the Unagi ecosystem, whether it's Persona or Una token. And we want to make sure that everything we do is super sustainable, because a lot of the experience that we got with our first game, with Ultimate Champions, that it's easy when you're in Web3 to build stuff that is not super sustainable. It's everyone is happy for the first few months, and then after you get a lot of inflation on the token, or many bad things can happen, which makes the project not sustainable. So we learned a lot about that. We had to make big changes to make sure that our game would be sustainable in the long run, and we want to apply those learnings to everything that we do at Unagi.
Perfect. Yeah, man. Well, look, that's like everything that I had that I wanted to condense within this video. Is there anything else just off the top of your head?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Really nice.
Yeah. Well, man, look, man, I seriously appreciate you taking the time. For anybody that's watching, I'll make sure to put all of the links for Persona and Unagi in the description of this video so that you can go check it out. Beyond that, thank you, man. Take it easy. For everybody that's watching, I appreciate you hanging out and listening to us talk about the project. We'll see you guys in the next video.